Again, I told you, mentally I'm stronger than you. I'm physically but
who's the better athlete? Now, in my opinion, the better athlete is Nathan Cleverly, 28-1 with 14 KOs. You know, now he was a world champion. You remember he lost his title, light heavyweight title to Sergey Kovalev. Sergey Kovalev gave him his first defeat and his only knockout, because obviously it's his first defeat of his career, and it was a bad KO. To whereas in Tony Bellew, he was knocked out by the other 175-pounder, Adonis Stevenson, except he wasn't stopped as bad as Cleverly. So you look at Cleverly, he seems to be a natural at 175 and below the heavyweight limit of cruiserweight. And what I mean by saying that is he's you can physically, just looking at him, okay? Physically, you know, he's pretty ripped, you know. It didn't look like he gained weight the wrong way, because to me it looks like in order to maintain himself at cruiserweight, he's probably got to put on maybe, you know, 10 to 15 pounds of muscle. To whereas in Bellew, it looks like it's his regular walking around weight, which is a good thing. Now, as far as the better boxer, the better puncher, I got to give it to Bellew, and that's not because his record is 22-1 with 14 KOs, and Cleverly is 28-1 with 14 KOs. It's just that skill-wise, and looking at, you know, just isolating both of them in the cruiserweight division. Both of them have fought 2 fights at cruiserweight, but only one has actually went the distance, which is Bellew, and I think his last fight was against a guy by the name of Dos Santos. I've covered both of their fights. I've covered actually Cleverly's last 2 fights and Bellew's last 2 fights, and I've covered fights before that, but let me just stay on topic. If you don't know, let me introduce myself before I forget what I'm talking about. I'm going to say I'm T-Street Controversy, and this is T-Street Controversy Live, and I cover every single major fight live. So today, we're talking about Gloves Are Off, Cleverly Bellew 2, and Gloves Are Off is the UK's version, the Skysports version of HBO 24/7. So you get the 2 fighters right there with another cruiserweight, well, former cruiserweight champion in Johnny Nelson, and basically they're asked questions and they're going back and forth with each other, you know, just like HBO 24/7. It's good. This one right here, see, it's a big fight. The fact that there's not a title on the line, and like I said before, the cruiserweight division is pretty tough when you got Juan Pablo Hernandez, Dennis Lieberdev, and you got Marco Huck and those guys, and those are the names that you should actually know. And the guy whose name starts with a K that I always forget. Bellew is in a situation where we know he can sell a fight. Even though he can sell a fight where he is over here in the United States, no one knows who he is. You know, so I don't know if people know who he is in Russia. I don't know if they know who he is in Canada. But as far as over here, I'm talking about United States. You can say Tony Bellew, you know, fans can't even equate him to an Adonis Stevenson. So that's why you get a guy like me, because the cruiserweight division is not an American dominant division, unlike almost all the other divisions outside the heavyweight divisions. You know, within the lower divisions are usually dominated by Hispanic or Spanish speaking fighters, you know, and basically fighters that are not from the United States. So to try to get some international flair on this fight, you know, it's really not there, because there's a lot of people that can't even name you who is the lineal cruiserweight champion. But oh wait, let me hear this. Let me see. Let's get a little snippet.
Come back, I've been doing that.
Tony Bellew walked off, you know, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's a little too animated, if that makes sense. You know, I'm not saying it's fake, but you can tell Bellew is doing his best to sell the fight, and it's not coming off as being 100% genuine. Now, when you look at the fact that he lost to Cleverly in a close fight, okay, all right, that's going to make his anger, you know, or his frustration, you know, come off as being genuine. Why? Because he felt he won that fight. But if you really look at it, both of them got knocked out by, you know, once they got to the top of, you know, or once they got to a point of actually being recognized as the best 175 pounder. Because remember, Kovalev took out Nathan Cleverly, you know, Frank Warren, and even though he's with Skysports Matchroom Boxing right now, Frank Warren kept throwing his name out there, Bernard Hopkins. And this was around the time Bernard Hopkins was fighting Jean Pascal 2 times and Chad Dawson. You got Tony Bellew. He got his hands on Adonis Stevenson after Adonis Stevenson had that crazy year. And the fact that he fought Tony Bellew too. A lot of people think Tony Bellew is a bum, but he's not. So, well, I'm talking about American fans. They'll say, oh, that was Bellew, he's a bum. Why is Adonis Stevenson fighting him? But he's not. So, I guess what I'm saying is I'm giving the fight to Bellew, and it's not because he's selling the fight. For some reason, he seems a lot more comfortable at cruiserweight and the natural cruiserweight, to whereas it is not necessarily determined yet fully, even though he's had 2 knockouts at cruiserweight at this point in his career, and Bellew has went the distance. So I'm thinking, okay, well, even though Cleverly has those 2 knockouts, we saw that in a tough fight. In that tough fight, remember when it looked like, he wasn't looking too good at cruiserweight, and I forgot the name of the fighter. In that first fight after Adonis Stevenson, we saw that he can go the distance, meaning Bellew, but we don't know necessarily, about Cleverly, and I don't see Cleverly stopping Bellew. Can Bellew stop Cleverly? Yes, I think so. It's going to be a crazy fight. It's going to be on Skysports box office, November which day is this? Is it on the 29th? I forgot. Long story short, there's a Matchroom card, and then there's a Sky Sports card. A Matchroom card, Sky Sports, and then a Box Nation card. The Box Nation card has Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora 2, and Chris Eubank Jr., Billy Joe Sanders, Chris Eubank Jr. To whereas in this other one, that Sky Sports card is stacked. You got of course, Bellew Cleverly 2. You got Anthony Joshua, Michael Sprott. You got James DeGale versus I forgot his name, Parabon. He the dude who almost or maybe came close to beating Jillian Love. You got George Groves on the card. If I'm correct, Scott Quigg, Jamie McDonald. It's a crazy stacked card. So you can tell that Matchroom is closing out the year strong. And Box Nation too. But I forgot which one is on the 22nd and which one is on the 29th. So if I'm correct, the Bellew card is on the 29th. The Bellew Cleverly 2 card is on the 29th. No, on the 22nd, the Danny Pacquiao fight. And then on the 29th, the following Saturday, or, whatever time it is over there in the UK, is going to be the Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora 2 card. But, like I said, I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. All my social media information is right below. And, I covered Hopkins versus Kovalev, gave full coverage. I was tired, it took a lot out of me. But now, I'm glad because every Saturday, and this is the fans who watch boxing. Right now, it's November the 13th, 2014. And every Saturday, all the way until, December the 20th, we have nothing but great fights. And I'm going to be covering each and every one live, along with Real Combat Media, the website I'm associated with. Link right below, T-Street Controversy Live.